Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, in the United States, we join New York City volunteers as they hand out environmental blankets to disaster victims. In our continuing series on Taiwan's first environmental trust, we find out why volunteers play an important role in the green movement. And in our regular look at the unique traits in Taiwan, we meet ferry captain Gao Youben and his crew in Kaohsiung's Qijing. First of all, it is confirmed that Barack Obama has been re-elected as the President of the United States. Congratulations. Now back to our program. With New York City being hit by a cold front, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived at the Far Rockaway area in Queens County to hand out a total of 380 blankets to local residents living nearby 3 churches.
In their continuing efforts to help disaster victims, New York City volunteers arrived at Far Rockaway, Queens, to distribute 380 blankets to local residents living near churches. It has been a week since Hurricane Sandy swept through New York, and with the city now being hit by a cold front, City volunteers are on the scene to hand out warm blankets. The St. Gertrude's Church was severely damaged by the superstorm. However, community volunteers say regardless of the damage, they have to save the church.
The whole church is damaged, flooded, so we're trying to save it. Because this is my second home. I love this church.
They are the most organized community volunteers I've seen around this area. All the materials are clean and tidy, and you feel respected by them.
Yesterday we got here, it was a little chaotic. We were getting a lot of donations from all over New York. First we had to clean up this room. Then they sorted all the clothes into the categories that you see now. They separated coats, children's clothing, stuff for babies. A lot of volunteers yesterday. We just want to make sure people have all the layers they need or extra blankets because nobody's heat is working right now.
The volunteers also arrived at another local church to deliver blankets and their blessings to the storm survivors. With temperatures close to zero, Tzu Chi volunteers try their best to stay warm against the cold.
It is really cold. I can't talk properly.
God bless you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it so much.
Figure out if my college kids' burrow is open, because supposedly it got flooded over there, so I want to know if it's open.
In spite of the disaster, all of us have peace of mind because we believe that we can overcome any obstacles.
Currently, many local residents are still living without electricity. Thankfully, with Tzu Chi volunteers' love and care, the victims can soon regain the strength to move on.
Moving to Africa, Lesotho Tzu Chi volunteers held a local volunteers training seminar on September 23rd, with a total of 40 volunteers taking part. Through video clips, the local volunteers learned how Tzu Chi volunteers conduct relief work around the globe, and through the sharing by local Tzu Chi commissioners, they also gained an insight of Master Zhen Yan's teachings.
Make sure that you are neat and well-dressed and that your name tags are pinned in the correct place. Let us settle down and get ready to begin the seminar.
Having just finished with this year's winter relief distributions, kindness and compassion continue on as Lesotho's Tzu Chi volunteers hold a training seminar for local volunteers at the Tzu Chi Maseru Liaison Office.
No stealing. 2. No stealing. 3.
Local commissioners step up as guest speakers at the seminar, introducing Tzu Chi's 4 missions, as well as bringing forth the beauty of Tzu Chi etiquette to the trainees.
Master Zhen Yan established the Tzu Chi Foundation on the principles of great love with the 4 missions of charity, medicine, education, and humanity. Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide are dedicated to these missions, doing good for the benefit of all beings.
35 local volunteers took part in the training seminar. Among them was Matabang Maolosi, who is a Tzu Chi care recipient from Matuking Township. She came into contact with Tzu Chi at the winter relief distribution in 2007, and after 5 years of interacting with the volunteers, is determined to become one of them.
I want to become a volunteer to reciprocate Tzu Chi's kindness, and I hope the day will come where I will be able to wear the same uniform as you.
As the training seminar came to an end, a local volunteer made a donation to reciprocate the long-term support received from Tzu Chi. The end of the seminar marks a new beginning for many volunteers, the start of dedicating themselves to serving others.
Did you know Tzu Chi's grain powders can be eaten in a few different ways? In Malaysia's Penang, at a vegetarian banquet held by Tzu Chi volunteers, they demonstrated how these health products can turn into many other delicious dishes. The volunteers hope to teach the participants how to cook in a simple way and eat healthily.
Pouring the 5-grain powder into a cup and adding olive oil to make dough, the 5-grain powder becomes an ingredient for homemade cookies. To raise funds for the Penang Dialysis and Education Centre, volunteers at the Tzu Chi Malaysia chapter held a vegetarian banquet near the end of October. All the delicious courses served were actually made from Tzu Chi's health foods.
This is not my first time eating vegetarian food. However, this time the flavor is lighter and I find it tastes good. Generally, vegetarian food means light meals without MSG that leave you feeling comfortable.
These vegetarian dishes have excellent color, aroma, and taste. It's quite nice to embrace vegetarianism. In fact, our life should be as simple as these vegetarian dishes.
The vegetarian banquet not only raised funds, but also encouraged more people to eat simple vegetarian dishes.
As Taiwan's first environmental trust, volunteers make up an important part of both the trust community outreach and ongoing building efforts on the land. The owners of the trust hope that ongoing participation by volunteers will highlight the importance of such environmental trust like Nature Valley and encourage others to perhaps do the same in future. Let's take a look.
4-year-old Xiao Yu is the youngest volunteer here at Nature Valley. In the eyes of Xiao Yu, this mountain is alive and friends can be found everywhere.
She feels connected to this land. She likes being here. When other children come, she's happy to see them and will show them around.
Growing up should be more than just studying and getting good grades. In order to expose Xiao Yu to the lessons and wonders of nature, every week her mother brings her down from Taipei, where the pair spends 3 days volunteering at their trust.
A lot of people are good at studying, but the question is, where does all that information go? Is it just studying for studying's sake? Many of those same people have trouble handling daily affairs and interactions. So what is the use of all that studying?
For children, the blue skies and verdant green fields bring a joy that money simply can't buy.
We can't just close our doors and expect to handle everything by ourselves. This is a public trust, so we hope people can support and agree with what we have going on here and then work with us. So we now offer a workday open to the public on Thursdays.
Every Thursday is workday at Nature Valley, with volunteers from all over Taiwan coming to help. The trust has been up and running for over a year now. In that time, the co-owners have had to learn as they go along.
This will not be like a villa in the mountains where you can plant and grow fruit or something like that. None of that will be here. This land is here to protect the native ecology. Anyway, I don't have my own mountain land. This can be my own land.
Volunteer Zhang Zhuozhen puts aside the complexities of his job one day a week to volunteer. It is a time where, despite the amount of physical work required, he finds he can unwind.
I just like being here. It is as simple as that.
This is not something that I can handle all by myself. Many things need the support and energy of a group. It all comes down to ourselves. Whatever we do, we need to give it our best. For all of us on this planet, we all have our mission in life to complete.
At Taiwan's first ever environmental trust, volunteers are an important part of ensuring the success of the experiment. And for everyone involved, they say that being part of this plan to save a slice of heaven on earth is a blessing in itself.
The ferry that travels from Kaohsiung's Qijing to Gusan is the main type of transportation used by Qijing residents. In the past few years, the area has also become a popular tourist destination. The first ferry takes off at 5 in the morning, with the last one departing at 2 a.m. Though taking turns for the morning and night shift, in each 10-hour shift, the ferry crews are responsible for the safety of hundreds of passengers. In today's feature report on Taiwan's unique trades, we meet Captain Gao Youben, who has over 30 years of experience in piloting these ferries, and we take a ride with his crew.
Captain, you ready to start work? Come and sign here for me. You feeling good today? Yes.
At 2 p.m., Gao Youben and his crew arrives one by one for work.
This is our chief engineer, Mr. Chen, and our chief mechanic, Mr. Guo. This is sailor Lu Jingfang and Wu Zhenwen. We are a team of 5. Lu Jingfang, you will be in charge of the cleaning in and out of the cabin upstairs.
Sailing out of the harbor, this routine work is what Gao Youben has been doing for the past 30 years.
Calling Qigu number 2. When our ship comes to an intersection, we have to look to the left and right to see if there are any vessels passing through.
Driving a car is similar to that of sailing a boat, as the driver or captain has to take note of the vehicles coming from all directions. However, at sea, weather conditions are another thing that needs to be taken into consideration.
A traditional kind of boat weighs less than 50 tons and the steering wheel is heavy. It is built with wood and it is huge and difficult to use. This one we have now, it is also heavy, but it is hydraulic. So just like playing video games, it is really easy and relaxed. Before we had no aircon, so come nighttime, when there were fewer passengers, we would only wear a singlet. The boats we had back in the 80s were single deck, and after the 90s, they added a second deck. After 2004, they all had 3 decks, which is how they still are now. We shoulder great responsibilities. The morning shift starts at 4:30 a.m. as we need to leave Gusan at 4:50 a.m. to get to Qijing in time for the first ship that takes off from Qijing at 5 a.m. Night shift, the last one, leaves at 2 a.m. And by the time we get home, it is 3 or 4 a.m. Our work is really tough.
Among the passengers, there are those traveling to and from work, students who are catching a ride home, as well as tourists that are just here to enjoy the beautiful scenery. The crew must be cautious throughout the trip that is less than 10 minutes long.
We have to take note of our passengers and whether their behaviors are normal or not. Because when a person wants to end his or her life, we can tell from their behavior. Back in 1983, when I was still a sailor, I noticed this woman who remained on the ship for 3 return trips, and I went to chat with her. When we were about to get off work and she was getting off, she turned around with a smile and said thank you. Getting her to come here and chat with our staff helped her open up her heart.
Apart from ensuring the safety of their passengers, the crew also has to take note of all details that happen in and around the cabin. On average, the crew carries out 3 round trips in an hour and continues their 10-hour shift without stopping.
It's all right. When I take a break, we have a substitute captain that takes over, so I have to eat real quick to get back to work.
The quick lunch breaks are always necessary, as Captain Gao Youben knows that there are hundreds of passengers relying on him and his crew to get home. The 22nd day of the 9th month on the Tibetan calendar is the day that Sakyamuni Buddha descended from heaven to earth, known as Labadushan, which falls on November 6th this year. To celebrate and help spread the positive message of the Buddhist teachings, Seoul University's Buddhist Club in Kaohsiung partnered with 3 other Buddhist clubs to ask fellow students to donate their receipts to charities.
Members of the Kaohsiung's Seoul University's Buddhist Club are on campus asking their fellow students to donate their receipts for charity. At the same time, they are spreading the message of Buddhism.
We want to take this opportunity to spread the message about the importance of this day and influence people to spread the love, for schools have joined hands to help socially disadvantaged groups.
Willing to give up their leisure time and endure strange looks from other students, members of the Buddhist Club look forward to getting more people to join their ranks.
Everyone is full of love. If you give people a smile, they will smile back at you.
We have to use Buddhist teachings in our everyday life and actually help others.
The Buddhist Club of Seoul University partnered with 3 other universities' Buddhist clubs to collect lottery receipts to broaden the love to all corners of Taiwan.
The story of a handful of rice of the Burmese people inspired students at the Tzu Chi Kindergarten in Penang, Malaysia, to carry out good deeds in a creative way. There, the students are promoting rice in bottles to raise construction funds for a new education center and a dialysis center. Every day, the students will place a handful of rice into their milk bottles that they no longer use and deposit them in the rice piggy bank at school the following day. 5-year-old Zhuang Hejing encouraged her 3-year-old sister to join in the cause, and together they gave up their reliance on milk bottles to do charitable deeds.
I drink very fast when I have to drink from my cup. I want to use my milk bottle again. Master is too far away. She cannot see.
5-year-old Zhuang Hejing understands the responsibility that comes with her commitment and promise. Through the Rice in Bottles campaign, the students at the Tzu Chi Penang Kindergarten have already filled 20 buckets with rice.
Master, I am sorry. I thought you weren't watching me. But now I'm not using my milk bottle anymore. I use my cup. I'm using it as my rice piggy bank.
This charitable Rice in Bottles activity encourages the students to give up their milk bottles, which they once cherished. They, however, understand the importance behind their actions, which is to raise construction funds for the Tzu Chi Education Center and Dialysis Center.
If we don't help raise the construction funds, there won't be an education center for our younger brothers and sisters. Sister, do you still want to use your milk bottle? Do you want to use it as a rice piggy bank?
With an untainted and pure heart, Zhuang Hejing and her sister deposit rice into their rice piggy banks, ensuring that each grain is filled with love and kindness.
Next, we are checking in on the recovery of Sofyan Sukmana of Indonesia. 2 weeks after his 8-hour tumor removal and facial reconstruction surgery, doctors find that he's well on his way to checking out of the hospital. Sofyan is in good spirits and can be seen joking around with the nurses. His mother is happy and grateful for everyone's help, while the doctors are inspired by Sofyan's bravery in facing multiple surgeries.
Wearing a prosthetic eye, Sofyan smiles. This is his first checkup after surgery. Today, the bandages are coming off, and Sofyan's mother is grateful for all the help, but can't bear to watch her son in pain.
Thank you, he's doing great. The surgery went smoothly and he's recovering quickly. His eyes are also doing well.
Sofyan is recovering well after surgery. Although his vision worsened due to the tumor, after surgery, his eye movements were no longer constricted, while his spirits in facing his condition was an inspiration to those working with him.
This is his third surgery. He didn't seem afraid before or after the surgery, so I don't know if he mentally struggled with it. But he's been very brave, and we are proud of him.
Doctors estimate that Sofyan will be able to leave the hospital in about a week, while Sofyan vows to study hard and be a devoted son.
Staying in Indonesia, in Jakarta, Tzu Chi recipient Yulia has suffered from prolonged asthma and stomach infections, and Tzu Chi has provided her with long-term care. This care also extended to her family. When Yulia's son was diagnosed with pneumonia at birth, Tzu Chi subsidized their medical cost. As a token of his gratitude, Yulia's husband, Ayon, collected plastic bottles for Tzu Chi to recycle.
Whenever he has time, Ayang will walk the streets and lanes to collect plastic bottles. Since being made aware that recycling plastic bottles is also a good deed, it has become Ayang's most important task every day.
I'm very thankful to Tzu Chi for all the help you have given to our family.
All the plastic bottles Ayang has collected are handed to Tzu Chi for recycling as a token of his gratitude for the support and care his family has received. Since his wife was diagnosed with asthma and a stomach infection, and with son being born with pneumonia, Tzu Chi volunteers have always been there, bringing warmth and laughter to Ayang's family.
I feel grateful that I'm able to reach out to others, especially Ayong's family, whom we have interacted with for some time now, and whom we have forged a great relationship.
We reached out to them because they needed help. Tzu Chi will always reach out to those in need.
Ayang makes a meager income by making handicrafts, and his family lives in this 30-square-meter house. But despite their hardship, his wife Yulia is thankful to God for letting Tzu Chi into their life.
Our life has always been like this. Although we are poor, I'm grateful to God that we have Tzu Chi's help.
Although life may be difficult for Ayang's family, they choose to live life to the fullest, filled with optimism and happiness.
At the end of our program today, we go back to Malaysia, where many students are graduating from the Tzu Chi kindergartens in Penang, Bayon Lepas and Butterworth. At the graduation ceremony, the youngsters put on a sign language performance and a short skit based on the theme of filial piety. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.